Namaste. Greetings, everyone. It's Christine Seliger, and this is my final project for COMS 135. So, in regard to the chapter I felt I benefit most from, that would definitely be the chapter on listening and responding. I'm a very chatty person. I tend to interrupt people and have had a lifelong case of, forgive me to say it, but the verbal diarrhea. So this course has solidified for me my need to not just listen to hear, not just listen so I can then respond or tell my own story, but truly actively listening, giving other people of our time and attention is such a gift. And then, if you're asked to respond, identifying if a response is actually required and desired. If it's not, no response required. But if you do respond, or when I do respond, making sure that I've thought it through and I'm not just rambling. So that's really valuable, a really great, one of the most important takeaways for me from this course. So, and the second prompt about white privilege and prejudice. I am a person of color. I've experienced racism my entire life. It's still not a regular occurrence, but it still happens. And so the conversation is always mind opening. I also gain some, it's awful to say, but there's a little solidarity in knowing that it's not just me being attacked. I don't want other people to experience racism, but I feel like many of us experience it, and sometimes we feel alone in it. So that's always mind opening. But the thing that I feel like I can do best to keep my eyes open is to be aware of my own implicit biases. It's not specifically racism against other cultures, but I definitely have opinions about people based on their wealth, their where they live. Oh yeah, their political affiliations, and sometimes even how they gender identify. Um, but I'm aware of it. I'm not saying it's cool, but I'm aware that I have some implicit bias. And so I'm working on that and making sure that I'm not making inappropriate assumptions about people just because they happen to be mega wealthy, or they happen to be a political affiliation, that I'm not. And that is always helpful. It's raised my awareness, to be sure. Eyes wide open. So at the end of chapter 4, which was the next prompt, what could I do to help towards eradicating racism in the world? Number one, being aware of my own implicit biases and making sure that I am not indulging in that I'm giving people a chance, regardless of the things that I have biases against. And the other thing I've learned personally that really helps me, and I think all people, to be less racist is to travel. I want to encourage everyone here, if you can, even if it's just to take the trolley and cross the border and go into Mexico. Go to places where you are truly the minority. Go to places where your language is not the first language spoken. It will make you a better person. And if you cannot travel, go to cultural events, learn about other cultures, read history. Knowledge is power. Educate yourself. Go to lectures, read books, study critical race theories. These are the ways in which, we can help eradicate racism. Also, lastly, I would say that even though I identify as an African American female, when I see others being racist against any race, I have personally interfered in my own family, actually, where someone was being racist towards Asians, someone was being racist towards Italians, of all things. I get all up in people's faces when you are racist about people's orientation, sexual orientation, and sexual identity. I'm having zero of that. So it's not just about standing up for other blacks. We stand up for everybody so that we are part of the solution and not part of the problem. So you also have to fire up some forgiveness to let go if someone tries to make, for lack of a better word, reparations to you and apologize for their racist stuff. You have to help them out by firing up their forgiveness, and woohoo! That's a hard bit, but it's worth doing it, and it'll make you a better person in the end. So, how I think this class has helped me with my own interpersonal interactions is, I mean, I'm still working on it, absolutely, but it's raised my awareness, which is fantastic. This class has actually changed how I listen, which has been amazing. And I know I mentioned being a better listener before, but what I'm saying is that now when I'm that movie reflection that we just did was so interesting. Now I can't watch a show without, hey, was that nonverbal communication? Hey, what was that? So I'm hearing it. I'm seeing it when I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and I'm hearing coaching conversations. I'm hearing the different forms of conversation that are happening and pinpointing it to these theories that we learned, and it's deepening my understanding of what people do and how they say and why they say it. It's it's wonderful. I've really enjoyed that, and so that's going to continue into the future. And of course, it's helped me in my relationships with my family members, being a better listener, not reacting, not responding, not jumping in to solve problems when that's not what was asked for. Um, the area, again, that I would like to improve for the last little bit is always going to be a continuation of being the best active listener that I can and not being a problem solver. A lot of times, people just need to be heard, they don't need you to fix it for them. Let me repeat that. Often people just want to be heard. They're not asking you to fix their problem for them. So ask, and I've started doing that. My sisters call me a lot and ask me advice, especially now they know I'm in this coaching program. And so when they call, oh, Christine, can I talk to you about this? I say, absolutely, but let me just ask you, do you just need to talk to me, talk out loud, or do you actually want me to respond somehow? And so then the clarification is set. And that's been extremely helpful. And then the very last thing that I'm doing as well is that I'm not only aware of people's body language, but I'm trying to mimic in a healthy way people's body language. So if someone's very relaxed and leaning back, then I try to relax and leaning back. If someone's really up close and coming in, I'll come up close and leaning in. It's a technique to help, sorry about that, settle people. So body language is more than just being aware of other people's body language, but sometimes when we mimic other people's body language, they'll relax even more. So that's the end. I'm already at almost 10 minutes. My God. So if you're still watching, hey, thanks for that. Again, Professor G, thank you so much. This has been a wonderful course. I've really enjoyed you and your videos, and I hope that our paths will cross again sometime in the future. I wish the best of luck to each and every student here as you walk your path of life, and wish you great happiness and peace always. Take care. Bye bye.